What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video on DC Future States, and today we're covering a complete story. Now, what I mean by this is a complete story is where I gather pretty much multiple of my own videos and put them all into one video as it flows into a full story, alright? And today we're covering the Unkindness storyline, which this storyline started in Future State The Flash, number 1, 2, and then ended in Future State Black Adam, number 1, 2, which the Black Adam story was actually a backup story in the Future State Suicide Squad comic. So yeah, guys, we're actually covering 8 comics in this issue. Future State The Flash, number 1, 2. Then we have Future State Teen Titans, number 1, 2. Then Shazam, number 1, 2. And then Black Adam, right? And it's a very epic story that, yeah, involves the Unkindness, which is a dark entity, or like a dark force that has like the 7 deadly sins, and the 4 riders of apocalypse. We see different heroes get possessed by this evil and actually murder other heroes. So a lot of things happen and hope gets lost throughout the entire story, but the ending is very interesting, right? And I would say that the story is not done yet. Like, how this story ends, it feels like they'll continue in the future. But for now, though, this is what we get. This is the complete story for now, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Now, I'll put, like, the names of the comics throughout the video, you know, like the chapter marks. I try to do that in every video, but for these ones, these complete story videos, it's, like, extra important, so you guys know which comic you want to go to or hear the narration about. But overall, the comic narration of this storyline is 1 hour and 12 minutes, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. We open at the Checkmate headquarters, somewhere in the Swiss Alps. The Thinker prepares his rooks, knights, and forces to fight off against the Flash family. The Flash family, including Barry, Max Mercury, Jay Garrick, and Avery Ho, go speeding in through the entrance. They throw stun tops at the Thinker's forces, knocking them down. Barry uses a cold gun from Captain Cold and freezes the Thinker's exit. Barry tells the Thinker to surrender, but the Thinker then tells Barry he has miscalculated. That's when the Flash family realize this isn't the Thinker, this isn't Clifford DeVoe, but the Calculator instead. He modified the thinking cap to catch the Flash family off guard. The Calculator states that the Speedsters, aka Flash family, are now using their enemies' weapons because they are losing their speed. He is curious as to why this has happened. What happened that made the Flash family lose their speed? That's when Impulse comes swinging in and uses Rainbow Raiders prism goggles to deflect off the ice from Captain Cold's gun in order to get the drop on the Calculator. Impulse is having a great time. Impulse knocks out the Calculator. Impulse runs toward the Flash family and says, after months of collecting gadgets to break into Checkmate, I can't believe I'm finally holding the tickets to saving Wally. Barry says it's time to go. The Flash family begin to head out, but that's when the Calculator attacks Impulse with a Rainbow Raider prism and injures him badly. Max Mercury tried to save Impulse, but he wasn't fast enough. Checkmate forces shoot, but Flash family barely make it out alive. The Flash family make it back to their hideouts. We fast forward to the Speed Lab weeks later. Bart Allen, aka Impulse, died after that run-in with the Calculator. Avery Ho has lost hope. She's lost too much. Jay Garrick is in fear now that he doesn't have his speed. Max Mercury lives with the guilt for not saving Bart. Barry has his own guilt over Bart, Wallace, and Wally West. He hides his guilt to keep hope in the Flash family. Barry wishes he could contain his emotions easily. Barry always saw himself as a father figure to Wally West, but Barry failed. Something in the Speed Force changed Wally into a hungry murderer. He killed his cousin Wallace West at Titans Academy. It's been 5 years since that incident. Barry has still not lost hope in Wally. He'll track him down and save him. Barry uses the thinking cap to finish phase 2 of his plan in saving Wally West. It's time to bring Wally back from the darkness. Barry walks outside in Central City. There's protesting against the magistrate forces. Barry gets a call from Iris. Iris tells him a speedster murderer has been located in North Africa. Barry knows it's Wally. Wally is coming for Barry next. Barry finally figures out what's wrong with Wally. That's when Barry tells Iris he's going to Avery's house to make a phone call. Iris's call cuts out. Barry believes if he can save Wally, he can save Central City. Barry rides off in a motorcycle through Central City streets. Yeah, crack-oom! Barry makes it to Avery's house. New reports come in that tensions are rising in Condog because of a speedster is killing civilians. Barry says there's still hope for Wally. Jay, Max, and Avery are mad and have gone through too much. They believe Wally is too far gone. Barry believes Wally is signaling them for help. Barry thinks Wally is stalling for backup. He brings up Wally's first encounter with Captain Cold to back up his claim. It's a flash fact that Wally needs the Flash family's help. Barry gives each of his friends a thinking cap to figure out where Wally is. Barry says their combined power can free Wally and save him. Max, Avery, and Jay. They hesitate, but then they agree. All four speedsters go into the mind of Wally West. The Flash family see Wally in Fuji, Japan, killing people. Wally's trying to break free. Wally asks Barry to stop it. Barry asks to stop what? Wally then reveals he's possessed by the Rider of Apocalypse, Famine. Barry tells Wally he did good stalling. They can save him now. Wally continues to kill people without knowing it. Avery decides that Wally can reconnect the Flash family to the Speed Force. Famine will find them. They will be targets, but they must try something. It's their last hope. Max tells Avery to stay focused. Wally then grabs Jay and starts sucking his life force. Famine has taken over. Jay doesn't know how Famine can kill them in the psychic plane. Famine proceeds to drain Jay Garrick's full life force. Famine says, "Just such a feast." Now, Barry, Max, and Avery feel a lot of pain and barely escape. Famine collides with Wally West again. Wally is lost once again. Famine says, "Rest assured that today's venture proved quite satisfying." He attacks the other speedsters, Barry, Avery, and Max. They're about to die, but that's when Iris arrives to Avery's house and removes the Flash family's thinking caps just in time to save them from famine. Barry wakes and sees Avery and Max alive, but in pain. Jay Garrick is dead. He died. Having his life force being sucked away by famine, he's died in the real life. It's a very tragic moment. Barry cries and walks out mad. Barry then proceeds to walk into his evidence vaults, which is now his laboratory. He'll use his scientific knowledge of the Speed Force to then countermeasure against it. Now, he'll also use the weapons of his enemies, like Captain Cold, the Thinker, all these different weapons to fight off against Wally West. He has to stop Wally for good. There can't be no more death and destruction throughout the world. It's been 2 months since Wally West murdered Jay Garrick. Barry Allen sits inside a speed lab at the Flash Museum. Barry still has hope that he can save Wally, but he must hurry. Armageddon is coming. Barry now has a full white beard. It honestly looks like it's 20 years instead of 2 months, but hey, maybe with the loss of the speed, Barry is now aging faster? I don't know. But moving on, Barry is using his science knowledge to create weapons that can stop the villain Famine, who has possessed Wally. The Flash's greatest villains had weapons that can stop him. But can these weapons stop Famine? As Barry makes these weapons, he remembers everyone that has fallen, all of his friends, Impulse, Jay, Max Mercury, and Iris. Iris went out into the world and never returned. Barry doesn't even want to imagine what happened to Iris. He tries not to imagine what will happen to himself when he confronts Wally. Barry uses all of his experiments to see if he can make a transfusion that can hurt Famine. Barry is fighting the impossible. The transfusion fails. Barry would usually call on the Justice League for help, but they have proven untrustworthy lately. Barry puts on a new Flash suit he's created. This suit has all the weapons and armor he needs to confront Wally and Famine. Barry has hope. Hope is power. Barry walks out of the Flash Museum and uses DeVoe's thinking cap to draw out Wally. Wally appears in front of Barry. Famine speaks through Wally's body. Famine taunts Barry. But that's when Barry throws a boomerang at Famine. He then uses the trickster's flying shoes to gain the high ground in battle. Famine catches him by the leg and pulls him down. Barry uses his modified weather wand to create negative speed force energy. He blasts Famine back with a huge explosion. Famine falls to the ground and is then hit in the back by the boomerangs. Barry then uses the Rainbow Raider's prism goggles to burn Famine to a crisp. Famine falls to the ground, dead. Barry feels bad. He killed his friend Wally, but at least he defeated Famine. But that's when Famine appears out of nowhere and hits Barry in the back. The Famine Barry killed was a Speed Force duplicate. Famine begins to take out Barry's weapons. The creature goes to kill Barry. Barry uses his Pied Piper Hypnosonics to blast Famine back. Famine begins to get very angry. Barry then uses a Mirror Tech duplicator to make hundreds of versions of himself. Barry then says, "You've underestimated me." Famine tries to fight back, but he gets surrounded. Barry uses the Still Force to stop Famine entirely. Famine is losing. Barry has a chance to kill this creature, but instead, he tries to get through to Wally one last time. Barry says to Wally, Wally, can you hear me? Listen, we can fight this thing inside you together. Remember all we've overcome together. We've endured so much death and loss. It has to end, Wally. We need each other to fight these forces working against us. These demons that drive us both. No matter what we become, we're all we got left. Please, I need you back, Wally. The thing inside you is distracted, it's vulnerable. Together we can. But then Wally cuts off Barry. He says, "Why, Barry? Why are you trying to kill me?" Barry sees Wally and says, "I'm trying to stop you, Wally, not kill you. But if you're with me now, we can fight what's inside you together. I've weakened it." Wally then shouts, "You've weakened me, Barry. I'm dying. Need strength to fight back before it's too late. Help me." Barry then puts out his hand and says, "Wally, listen. You said famine feeds on something. Well, what does it feed on? Maybe we can starve it or poison it." Now Wally begins to fall into Barry's hands. He says, "Running out of time. Find others to help. Need magic. Xanadu, Constantine, anyone." Barry then looks down and says, "Wally, all the magic users have been gone for years. No one knows where they..." But that's when Barry notices. Wally says, "Bring them to help me." Barry notices that this isn't Wally. This is Famine. Barry then shoots Famine back with a cold gun. Barry says, "It's you! You want me to bring you more victims like Jay. Wally would never ask me to endanger anyone else after what you did to Jay." Now Famine smiles. Clever man. Now he makes Wally look very frightening, alright? Like Wally has a huge smile. He looks like a demon almost. Now Famine continues to speak. He says, "You of all people must have known I would use the Speed Force to vibrate this body and melt through ice. So what were you hoping to achieve?" So basically the cold gun that Barry used did not work at all. Now, Famine continues to say, "So hopeful you would save your friend with your science, but you could not have hoped your ice weapon would contain me." Barry looks down. He's sad. He says, "No, to stop you. By stopping Wally." That's when Famine begins to shrink. He begins to get super skinny. He begins to shout, "What is happening to me?" So Barry then explains. He says, "I modified the fuel in Captain Cold's ice gun. You absorbed it while melting the ice. You inhaled in the steam. The ice you ingested contains a genetically altered form of Wally's DNA. The re-engineered DNA is now propagating through his body with Speed Force velocity, changing him by my design from the inside, destroying his skeletal muscles, eliminating his body's ability to run." So basically Barry is removing the speed from Famine, so Famine can't run anymore. Famine can't use Wally's body to run as fast as Barry and kill him. So he's making Wally very weak. He's actually killing Wally, but hopefully killing Famine at the same time. Barry then goes over to Wally as he begins to die. He says there will be no healing from this. The reprogrammed DNA will maintain this condition for his body. Wally's now useless to you. And that's a flash fact. Now get the hell out, my friends. Now Famine comes out of Wally's dead body and smiles. Famine looks super, like, freaky, alright? Like, seeing this image, guys, he has big white hair, he's smiling, he's skinny, he's like gray. Like, that's a demon for you. Now, he says, "Oh, to savor this dying light, your mournful eyes, Barry, I will go to hell and back. Yeah, for this moment where you burn your dreams for Wally with your nightmares of science. For this moment where you realize you sacrifice your family in vain to challenge a force beyond your science. I come in the flesh to take in this moment where the magnitude of my manipulations and your failure dawns upon your soul. Finally you realize that I am Famine, for it is the famine of hope itself that gives me life and purpose. And never I've been more safe than by starving the boundless hopes that so many invest in this Wallace Rudolph West, and in you." Barry looks, he says, "No." So basically what happened is that Famine fed off of Barry's hope. And when hope pretty much failed and there's no more hope, then people started to die. So when Barry, Avery, and Jay went to the mine to Wally, and somehow Famine was able to kill them, or at least kill Jay in the moment. Like, I'm pretty sure that Avery is dead now, but Famine was able to get to them in just Wally's mind. The reason was because Avery and Jay lost hope in Barry. They didn't believe in him anymore, so therefore Famine could get to them and kill him. But in every weak point, every moment that Barry showed weakness, Famine was able to get through. So Famine is powered by Barry, not by Wally. He just used Wally because Wally is the center of hope. And by pretty much making Wally become a murderer, he really lowered hope in everyone in the Flash family. And slowly they all lost hope, and Barry was the only one left, and now he's lost hope. Like, he's lost everything, so now Famine should be able to kill him as well. Barry goes over to Wally's body. Wally says his last words. "Barry, why?" Barry looks down and says, "Wally, I failed you, I'm sorry." Now Famine smiles and says, "Intoxicating. The taste of your despair and the dying of Wally's final hopes in you." Barry looks up and he says, "Wally's final words to me during our encounter in his mind was the warning truly his or another of your deceptions. It doesn't even matter whether we're driven by truth or a lie, the hearts or the mind. How can any of us really see our actions or their consequences? I only sought to save Wally, but I brought war to my enemies to do it. I planned to stop you and only starved my family of hope as I led them to death's door. I tried to save the world by bringing pestilence to Wally." So we see Barry looks up and sees everyone dead. Captain Cold, Wally, Jake Eric, Impulse, Avery, Max Mercury, Iris. Basically, Barry's the reason everyone died, which is very bleak and sad. Now, what happens next is Barry decides, you know what? I'm not gonna lose hope. He's not gonna lose hope. He's gonna strive forward. He's gonna go at this one last time. He's gonna try to defeat Famine. So, he walks over to Famine. He says, "I am done feeding you." And Famine, I'm gonna say it, Famine looks so freaking creepy, like, I swear. He's so skinny, like, dang. Alright, if I saw that, I'd be freaked out. But Famine says, "Such beautifully tragic poetry, your endless capacity to build the hopes from which you will fall transcends the divine, and proves your worth to me, because your hope will be infinite deaths between your heart and your mind, and this young man who I made whole again." Now, Famine grabs Wally. Wally says, "I'm sorry, Barry." Barry looks behind and says, "Wally?" And Famine says, "Your science and faith have no power here, but please, don't stop fighting back for me. And to challenge your resilience once again, we've used the Speed Force to push you just a moment outside of time. You will now walk this world as an immortal ghost, an incorporeal witness as I feast on the death throes of all of humankind. It is their delicious nature to feed me with their despair, just as it's your nature to replenish hope, no matter the setback I devise for you. This is why I spare you, Barry, so I leave you with this. Know that I will haunt you with unending despair again and again. And you will feed me forever because you will never run out of hope to stop me. You'll just keep running." Now, Barry, this is actually very interesting, guys. So Barry, by having hope, is still feeding Famine, because what Famine does is he uses Barry's hope to give hope to other people. But then when that hope is lost, they have a lot of despair. And by having them have despair and them losing hope, he then kills them, right? Or possesses them. So Famine doing this is gonna like destroy all of humankind. He's gonna use Barry's hope to get into the minds of everyone. Which I actually found that super intriguing. But still, we see Barry here, and he tried, but he can't fight back. He basically becomes like an immortal ghost that serves Famine's plans. So very dark ending, but we see Barry, he basically disappears. And his flash ring falls to the ground. And he just looks. He remembers to keep going. He's not gonna stop hoping. He's gonna save the world eventually. Now we see Cybeast, which was actually in the Teen Titans issue of Future States. And this is basically Beast Boy and Cyborg combined. They find the flash ring. And Cybeast reports back to the Teen Titans. He says, Cybeast to Starfire. We lost Barry Allen, but I've got new intel on the Riders. And I have Barry's flash ring. It's loaded with data. With what we learned here today, I think Barry's giving us a fighting chance for a better tomorrow. So, guys, again, so Famine thought he tricked and killed Barry and basically made Barry a part of his plan. But Barry, by doing this whole confrontation, facing off against Famine, has learned Famine's weakness, has learned the Riders of Apocalypse weakness, and he loaded it on the flash ring. So now the Teen Titans can use this to beat the Riders of Apocalypse and save the world. So yeah, that's basically the end of the story, guys. That's how the Flash series of Future State ends. It's a very dark but hopeful ending, I guess. Like, it's dark how Barry disappears, but at the same time, his death means that maybe the Teen Titans can save the world. We begin on the Titans Island in New York. The whole island and tower is in ruins. Nightwing and Red Arrow walk up to the graves of their fallen friends. Dick gives Emiko 2 minutes to mourn. Then they need to head back to work. Emiko cries by the grave of Wallace West, the Kid Flash. Nightwing walks through the ruins and finds the mask of Red X. We shift to years ago. The Teen Titans are throwing a party for Dick Grayson's birthday. Dick finds the Red X mask at the party. He tells Starfire that he hasn't seen the Red X mask in a long time. Starfire says it wasn't her who brought it. It was some of the Titans Academy's students. They admire the story of Red X. Dick is proud of what the Teen Titans are doing. They're doing very well. Starfire apologizes for not getting him a present. She'll give him something later to make up for that. Nightwing and Starfire are a couple at this time. We shift back to the present. Nightwing and Red Arrow find an H-dial in the ruins. Nightwing wants to turn it on, but that's when Nightwing and Red Arrow are called by Starfire. She says, "They're back." Nightwing responds, "Already?" We shift to Starfire, Johnny, and Jakeem Thunder, trying to figure out how to deal with what they recently found. They found Beast Boy and Cyborg, which are now Cybeast. They're combined. We shift back to the past again and see Starfire and Beast Boy about to teach a class of students. They are waiting on Cyborg. Cyborg arrives. He teaches the kids the lesson of trust. Beast Boy and Cyborg both team up in teaching this lesson. They've fought side and side for a long time. Cyborg and Beast Boy are not just partners, they are friends. They irritate each other but eventually smile. Together, always. We shift to Nightwing and Red Arrow talking to Starfire on their way back to the Titans' hideouts. Starfire says they need to do something about Cybeast. Nightwing says they have to begin being reckless and take risks. Starfire mentions that Dick is sounding a lot like Bruce. Dick asks Starfire where Rachel is. Starfire says Rachel is busy. Nightwing continues to talk, but Starfire eventually hangs up on him. Amiko thinks that was a good idea, a good decision, because Nightwing was not being nice on the call. Amiko makes it into the Titans' hideouts. Starfire explains to the Titans that she thinks Cybeast came back to deliver a message. Starfire gives each group member a job. Their goal is to re-establish communication with Shazam's field team. Amiko mentions to Starfire that she found the H-Dial. Starfire sends the Titans off. Starfire finds Nightwing in the shadows. Nightwing asks Starfire why she didn't tell the Titans about the H-Dial. Amiko mentioned it, but Starfire didn't put in the plan. Starfire says the H-Dial isn't a part of the plan anymore. There's a new plan. Nightwing questions what she's doing. Starfire says she doesn't care. She doesn't answer to Nightwing. She walks away. We shift to the Titans fighting off against a Hydra dragon. Raven says, "Here we go." Raven gets control of the Hydra. She says, "Equitas, Egoth, Dominion." She then sees everything around her turn to dust. She screams, "Oh, wait, no, not yet." She wakes up from meditation. Raven says, "I don't know what happens." A man in a cell says, "Then you weren't paying attention." Raven says she saw everything. The man goes on to say she wasn't prepared. She's not ready. She should come back when she's ready. Raven says, "This isn't about me being ready. You think I shouldn't do it, am I right?" The man laughs and says, "You caught me, so to speak." The man changes his mind. He thinks Raven should carry on with her plan, just not with him. He's screwed up too. Raven says, "Yeah, well, that's why you're never getting out of here." Raven says she appreciates the man's help, but she has to do the rest of her plan alone. The man says, "I want to make things right, Miss Raven." Raven then senses Cybeast. She says, "They're awake." We shift to Cybeast, joking with Amiko. Beast Boy is joking around, Cyborg is serious, one body, two different personalities. Beast Boy tells Starfire they got the spear. Amiko asks, "The Spear of Destiny? That is what this big covert mission was all about?" Beast Boy says, "It's about ending the apocalypse and saving our friends." Starfire is surprised that Cybeast found the spear so fast. Nightwing says, "Nice work." Beast Boy says, "What can I say? I'm a machine." Cyborg says, "I'm a beast." Cybeast says, "You get the idea." Amiko says the spear won't destroy the 4 riders of Apocalypse. Raven walks in. She agrees with Amiko, but she says the spear is supposed to get the 4 riders of Apocalypse in a place that the Titans can make their last stand. The plan is working. The 4 riders of Apocalypse have converged on Shazam's field team. Raven says, "It's time." We shift to Shazam and the Titans fighting off against the 4 riders. The spear isn't slowing them down. We shift to the past again. A student of the Titans Academy is wearing the Red X costume. He's standing off against the Teen Titans. The Titans are trying to calm down the situation. Red X thinks they are going to kill a student of the Titans Academy. Red X tells Nightwing the true meaning of the mask. Red X is protecting one of his fellow students in a shiny cocoon. Nightwing and Montez use the H-Dial to subdue Red X. They accidentally destroy the cocoon. The Titans made a huge mistake that day. Nightwing remembers. He walks into a dark room, and he sees the same man that Raven was talking to in the dark cell. Nightwing says, "The Red X mask is more yours than mine now anyway." Red X says, "Is this some kind of second chance?" Nightwing responds, "Not for you, for me. I failed you." Nightwing opens the cell. The man says, "Don't flatter yourself. I deserve everything that's coming to me." Nightwing gets out a mask and puts it on, and he says, "Does Rachel?" We're not gonna let her take this on by herself. You're right about that mask. I worried to make a point that the Titans are dead. We've tried so many times to reassemble, fix what's broken, start again. But in the end, all we ever do is make a bigger mess of it. And Starfire's about to do it again. The Titans are dead, and I'm tired and ready to win one, no matter what it takes. We see Nightwing side by side with Red X. He has the Deathstroke mask on now. These two people, Nightwing and Red X, will save the Titans. They'll save the world. But at what cost? Dick Grayson makes it back to the Teen Titans headquarters. Red X is at his side. Now, Starfire stands. She has all the Teen Titans behind her, or the ones that are left. Now, she looks at Red X, then looks at Dick and says, "What is this, Dick? We're in the middle of the actual end of times, about to fight the 4 Riders of the Apocalypse, who I might add, your friend, Red X, is responsible for unleashing on the world." Dick cuts her off and says, "We're all responsible." Now, Starfire responds saying, "Give me the H-dial. Your judgment is compromised." Now, Dick puts out his hand and says, "You have to trust me, Corey. I know what I'm doing." Now, Starfire responds, "Yeah? Do you know what you're wearing? Deathwing?" Now, moving on. We go to 6 months prior. We see Raven with all the Teen Titans. She looks at the graves of the dead Teen Titans members. She says, "You know what you say right now." Now, Shazam right by her says, "I didn't really know him, not well." Now, Raven responds, "Miguel was devout and so strong for someone so young. He'd say that when a hero falls, they're never truly gone, that their power, their spirit lives on and returns to us in time." Now, Starfire says, "They're in our hearts now, everyone that we've lost, heroes, friends, members of our family." Now, Dick walks up. He says, "Members of our army." Now, Dick walks over to the grave and puts a rose right by Donna Troy's grave. So, Donna Troy's gone, guys. She died. Now, Dick says, "Donna knew what she signed up for, Corey, but Miguel and the rest, they were kids." Now, Starfire says, "They were Titans." Dick stands up and he says, "They might have been if they got a chance. We were supposed to help these kids, to save them. But in the end, we just weaponized them, drafted them into our endless war." Story of my life. Now, Dick begins to walk away. Starfire looks at him and says, "One last lecture, Dick. Is that why you came back?" And Dick turns around and says, "I came back because I found Red X. Or, he found me. This morning, he asked me to lock him up at the safe house." Now, Starfire says, "Good. He's finally taking responsibility for what he helped unleash." Now, Raven looks up and says, "They shouldn't be locked up. He should be out here helping us fight them." Now, Starfire says to Raven, "Rachel, they're too powerful. And look at where we are. Half the population is dead. The League doesn't trust each other, let alone us. What's left of us? We can't beat them. We don't have the numbers." Now, Shazam, he looks and says, "I'm not willing to give up. We're not dead yet." Now, Dick looks at the grave of Miguel Montez and says, "No, we're not." Now, going back to present day, Dick says to Starfire, "Can I talk, please? I haven't worked with Slade in months. You know that." So guys, this confirms that Dick did work with Slade at one point, which is crazy. I actually like to see that story. Now, Dick continues to say, "Red X was my call. He wants to help. And maybe he already has, Corey. There's something you need to hear about the..." Now, Starfire cuts him off saying, "You know what? Fine. Keep the dial. Red X, your death mask, whatever, I'm tired of fighting you, Dick." Now, Starfire stands up even taller and says, "Alright, you all know the plan. Totally Tubular, Batgirl, Chupacabra, and Gorilla Greg will all stay behind under Jakeem's and Giant Thunderbolt's leadership. If you don't hear from us in 24 hours, it means we're all dead. And you 6 are the world's last hope. We know you'll be ready for the weight of that responsibility, but trust that if there was any way to help you shoulder it, we would." Now, Totally Tubular, Chupacabra, Batgirl, and Gorilla Greg all look at each other. They're concerned. They remember back then on Halloween, they were with Miguel Montez. They were messing with the H-dial, and they accidentally caused the 4 Riders of the Apocalypse to be unleashed on the world. They were in on making this all happen on accident. And now they might be the world's only hope if the big Teen Titans die like Starfire, Nightwing. So they're very worried. Now moving on, we see Raven. She goes over to Red X. She says, "You got what you wanted. You made the team. Happy?" Now Red X looks back and says, "Don't I look happy?" Now Starfire grits her teeth. She says, "Time to go, Raven." And that's when Beast Boy says, "Hey, Meeks." And Cyborg says, "You ready for this?" Now that's when all the Teen Titans go through a portal that Raven opens up. They all make it through, and Amiko says, "No, Cybeast, I am absolutely not ready for." Now we see all the 4 Riders of Apocalypse: War, Pestilence, Death, and Famine. We see that Pestilence is taking over Roundhouse, which I was wondering. I was like, where the heck is Roundhouse? Well, he's taken over by Rider of Apocalypse. And we already know that Wally, he's taken over by Famine. Now we see Shazam there. He's been fighting them off, but he's with all the Teen Titans. Now they're going to fight off against all these 4 Riders of Apocalypse. Now, Dick goes up to Wally. Dick remembers fighting off Wally when he got controlled by the Rider of Apocalypse, Famine. When Dick almost died, Wally grabbed him, was going to suck his soul away, take his life force. But Raven stopped Wally, or stopped Famine. We're just going to call him Famine, because Wally at this point is dead. He's gone. This is just full-on Famine. Now, Dick, with the Deathstroke mask on, looks at Famine again. This is their second encounter. Now, Raven says, "I said she was going to hit him back again. She's not going to let Famine kill Dick." But that's when Wally comes through. He says, "But it's me, Rachel. It's Wally. I need your help." Now Raven, she hesitates for a moment, but that's when she shouts, "Wally is dead. You killed him, and I'm here to make you pay for it." Now Famine unleashes Master Shazam, comes out of left field, and hits Famine into a wall. He says, "I got this." Now Red X and Dick catch Shazam, and Shazam says, "You have to be fast with that one. One more second he has starved you all. What's with the squad, Miss Raven? I thought you'd be alone." Now Miko responds, "Where's the Spear of Destiny, Billy?" And Shazam says, "Destroyed, as expected. Do you not know the plan?" And that's what Miko says, "Why does everybody keep not telling me the plan?" And Shazam says the spear was just a lure. Now that we've got the 4 together, Miss Raven's gonna tether herself to them, then lock them in the only prison we think we can hold them, the Rock of Eternity. Now Miko says, "The Rock? Is that a prison?" And Shazam says, "You have no idea." Now that's when Beast Boy says, "You think it'll hold them? Who's gonna make sure it does?" And Cyborg pretty much tells Beast Boy Shazam's going to stand guard for the rest of time. Now Beast Boy responds, "Wait, we knew about all this? How is that even possible?" And Cyborg says, "We'll discuss it later." Now that's when Amiko, she gets her bow and arrow ready. She says, "Shazam, not Billy. You mean you're gonna stay like this forever?" And Shazam responds, "When I'm Billy, my power resides in the rock. But we can't risk the riders getting control of it. So, no changing back." And Dick responds, "We're wasting time." Red X gets ready. He says, "This is gonna get ugly, Miss Raven. You good?" And Raven says, "Just keep him busy." Now the Teen Titans charge the 4 Riders of Apocalypse. And Starfire leading them says, "Titans, together!" Now so we see Crush. She punches Roundhouse in the face. She says, "Roundhouse was my friend, you vomiting freak." Now that's when we see Cybeast. He gets his legs cut off by Famine, and he starts screaming. But that's what he says, "Just kidding, regeneration is one of the perks of being half machine." Cyborg says, "Or half Zarnian." And that's when we see Crush. She walks forward. She says, "Booyah." Now so we see Famine. He gets hit by all these red arrows. And he looks back, he sees a Miko Queen. She's ready to go. She says, "That was for Wallace." And this is, that's when we see Famine. He runs as fast as he can using Wally's powers. He grabs onto a Miko and drains her life force. She falls to the ground dead. With Amiko dead on the floor, Starfire looks down. She says, "Amiko, we have to fall back." Now Dick Grayson stands up and says, "No, we need to give Raven more time, just now." That's when War, one of the Riders of Apocalypse, starts taking control of Red X and Dick. Now they serve him. And Starfire's like, "What the heck is happening?" She's like, "Ah, crap." Now she has to deal with Red X and Dick Grayson and these 4 Riders of Apocalypse. Now, she doesn't do that good because she gets controlled as well. So the 4 Riders of Apocalypse just start taking control of people. But that's when we see Dick Grayson and Red X get control of themselves again. Now, Red X says, "Oh man, my head, he was inside." And Dick responds, "It's okay. His attention's diverted now. We're gonna have to step it up. We see Pestilence and War attacking Bunker. Bunker is trying to hold him off. Bunker being one of the Teen Titans. Now, Red X goes up to Dick, and Dick is about to use the H dial. He's not supposed to use it now, but Dick is like, hey, we have to do this. This is our only chance. And Red X is like, no. Red X actually stops Dick from making a terrible mistake. Now, that's when Dick decides to go with what Red X is saying. He runs forward. He says, Bunker, I need some equipment. Now, Bunker creates some platforms for Dick to swing on and make it across the field. Now, so Shazam, he's fighting back. And he says, look out, Nightwing, they got Crush and Cybeast. So now Cybeast and Crush are controlled by the Riders of the Apocalypse. A bunch of the Teen Titans are controlled. And there's only a few of them that are fighting off. And they're trying to pretty much distract these Riders of the Apocalypse so that Raven can do what she has to do. So that she can tether next to them. Now, Dick almost gets hit by Pestilence. He says, never mind them, Billy. We just have to give Raven enough space to... Oh no. We see two of the Riders of Apocalypse about to hit Raven. Red X is in front of her. Raven says, it's almost time. Get Starfire out of here. Red X responds, I'm not leaving you. And Raven says, oh yes you are. Azeroth, that's when she flies off and Red X is blasted back. He says, damn it. Now, we shift to Dick. He's above Bunker. Bunker says, Raven, I can put a wall between her and Red X looks back. He says, no. If you block her, she can't tether them. And this will all have been for nothing. Grayson, now. Dick runs over and he pulls out the H dial. He says, Titans, right? And Red X responds, Titans. That's when we see Red X, he runs. And Dick actually has the Red X mask in his hand. Red X took off the mask. We are about to see who's under this mask. This man, he runs up to the Riders of Apocalypse. He says, look, it's me. You know who I am, don't you? Yeah, I thought so. Now, Crush, she looks up. She says, what is happening? What's he doing? Dick says, they have a bond, he and the host, who brought the Riders to our door. Now, Bunker says, the host? You mean? Now, we go back then, 6 months ago. Bunker says, they're right there, under our noses the whole time. Starfire says, how can we not see it? And Nightwing says, Red X did. But for some reason, he thought the Titans were a bigger danger than the Four. I swear, if I ever find him. And Raven says, it was wrong. But he only did what he did out of concern for the team. Now we go back to the present day and Starfire says, Dick, what is he doing? And Dick, still with the Deathstroke mask on, responds, making amends. X understands the part he played in bringing on this apocalypse, and that this is the part he has to play to end it. Now Starfire, she looks up. She says, by using H-Dial, how will that distract them from Raven long enough to... Now Dick cuts her off saying, it's not just an H-Dial. Not anymore. Now Starfire says, I don't understand. And Dick looks at Red X charging at the four Riders of Apocalypse. He says, he does. He told me the kids somehow modified it. The thing on Halloween. Starfire responds, Halloween? What? Dick, what is he doing? And Dick says, dialing up the cavalry. 8, 4, 8, 2, 6, 7. Titans, together one last time. Now so we see Red X. He's standing tall. He says, hello, old friends. We see Wally West. We see Don Detroit. We see this whole army of Titans who are basically like ghosts now. Just show up and go to attack the four Riders of Apocalypse. Guys, this is freaking dope. This is so cool, actually. They all attack. It's a whole army. Like, this is really like the last stand of the Titans. Now, Raven pulls through with the final part of the plan. She says, Equitus, Egoth, Dominion. She unleashes all his power. Now, Red X, he gets slashed. Blood comes out of his chest. The four Riders of Apocalypse are going to try to kill him. Now, the other Teen Titans watch this. Crush says, holy freaking fracking. Oh, what was that? And Cybeast says, Miguel said, when a hero falls, their power, their spirit lives on. Now Dick holds Starfire close, he says, and in time returns. And Starfire says, I thought he was being nice. And Dick looks up. He says he was. He was also telling us something important about the Heroverse. Something X and the other kids found out the night they hacked the H-Dial. Now Bunker looks down, he says, they're never truly gone. Now we see Raven, after using all her power, she falls from the sky. And that's the Shazam. He catches her. He holds her close. He says, Miss Raven? Now so Raven wakes up. She's smiling. The 4 Riders of Apocalypse are in her now. She begins to go crazy, guys. Like, she is possessed now. Now, Shazam looks back and he sees all the Teen Titans getting controlled. They're now being controlled with all of this darkness. Now, the only one that isn't is Bunker. Bunker's like, Santa Maria. He's like surprised. Now, Shazam says, Miss Raven. And Raven says, it's the Riders, Billy. I have them. They're part of me now. But it's all unkindness. You have to hurry. And Shazam looks. He says, guide me, Zeus. Azeroth, Menturon, Synthos. Now, he unleashes all his power and pushes Raven through a portal. By doing this, all the other Teen Titans, they stop being controlled by the darkness. Bunker is barely saved. We see Shazam. He makes it to the Rock of Eternity. He walks through this gate. He holds Raven in his hands. He says, don't worry, Miss Raven. Nothing can escape the Rock of Eternity. Not as long as I'm standing guard. Now, that is how we end Future State's Teen Titans #2. We begin with Billy Batson remembering everything starting normal in the past. The Teen Titans Academy thriving. They were doing good. They were getting a lot of students. But that's when hell came to Earth. John Stewart, the Green Lantern, saw hell first, and he was attacked. We go to present day 2029. Shazam thinks he's in this hellscape of Earth, and he's surrounded by demons, and below him is Neron. Neron says, wakey wakey. Shazam wakes up in his bed. The Earth is not actually a hellscape. He gets a call from Mary, his sister. He doesn't answer the call. We shift to the Justice League of America headquarters in Detroit. The question plays a message to Vixen. It's Mary Marvel's message that Shazam didn't answer to. Vixen tells the question that Vic Sage never stole people's messages. The new question says, he did it all the time, and now I get why. Vixen asks question, what is wrong with you? The question tells Vixen to focus. Billy hasn't answered his family phone calls in months. He's distancing himself. The real question they should be asking is, what is wrong with Shazam? We shift to Shazam sitting in a chair. Around him, his crew, Powerhouse, Miss Martian, Bunker, they all work, and they converse while they work. Now, Miss Martian doesn't really want to talk. Now, the Question and Vixen walk in. Shazam glances over and says, you're late. Question responds, sorry, Billy. Billy says, don't call me Billy. That's when the team gets a trouble alert. We shift to Iron Heights Penitentiary. Giganta and the Manhunter break in. They cut through the guards and walk past cells of Red Tornado and Gorilla Grodd. The 2 villains come across the cell they want to open. A big guard with a huge sword stands in their way. Giganta turns huge and crushes the guard like a little bug. The cell opens up. The Manhunter says, Creeper, you have been called home. The Creeper laughs uncontrollably. That's when Shazam and his team arrive. Giganta says, Billy, this is a citizen of Condog, and Black Adam has demanded his extraction. Shazam says, he's not the man you remember. The Manhunter looks at Shazam and says, neither are you. The fight begins. Giganta and the Manhunter go against Shazam's team of heroes. Shazam confronts the Creeper. The world slows down for Shazam. He thinks about what to do next. We see Shazam's team win. Powerhouse takes out Giganta. Vixen says, good work. Wait, where's... That's when Shazam steps out of the shadows and says, Creeper? I don't know. Miss Martian says, I do. Miss Martian shows Creeper's dead, bloody body to the group. The whole team is shocked. An ominous villain sneaks away. Shazam's team go back to the headquarters. They argue about whose fault it is that Creeper died. Bunker reports that a new serial killer has been sighted across the world, killing people with a stone implement or a knife. The same weapon that killed the Creeper. Vixen asks, wait, where's Jakeem? The question says to Shazam, I have a question, Billy. Shazam says, don't call me Billy. The question goes on to say that there were shadow drones deployed onto Iron Heights to figure out what happened with the Creeper, but the files are corrupted. There's no way to know who killed the Creeper. Someone messed with the files. Shazam tells his team to drop the case. They need to focus on the living, not the dead. The Question and Vixen become very suspicious of Shazam. We shift to Philadelphia, later in a warehouse. Shazam walks in and confronts Jakeem Thunder. He can't keep Jakeem there anymore. The team is catching on to Shazam. Shazam decides to free Jakeem. Thunderbolt gets a fighting chance. You hear a crack-a-boom! Shazam leaves the warehouse and says, "Good luck, Johnny." Shazam wakes up in his bed again. He's beat and bleeding. He gets a call from Mary Marvel once again. Shazam answers this time. Mary hears Shazam crying. He's tearing up. She says, "Are you crying, Billy?" Billy tears up and gets mad. He crushes the phone in his hands. Shazam makes it to the Justice League of America headquarters late. Now, that's when Question says, "You're late." Now, Shazam says, "What's going on here?" Turns out they recovered the Shadow Drone's footage. They know that Shazam beat the Creeper to death. The Question says to Shazam, "Where is Jakeem and Thunderbolts? Tell us who you really are." Shazam shouts that question. "Who am I? Who are you? Vic Sage is in Arkham. Montoya and Drake are dead. I killed them." "I guess you figured that out, didn't you?" Vixen says, "My God, Billy." Shazam gets angry and says, "I keep telling you, don't call me Billy." We shift to a year ago in Hell. Shazam speaks to Neron. Shazam can't say the name Billy because if he does, he'll pretty much unleash Neron upon the world, the most powerful inmates in the Rock of Eternity currently. Now, Shazam shouts, "I can't ever speak the name Billy again, Neron." Neron says, "Who said anything about speaking the word?" Neron then blasts at Shazam, splits up Billy Batson and Shazam. Billy is free. He says, "Oh my God, you did it. It worked." Neron says, "Told you." Neron grants Shazam his eyesight back because he lost it when the split happened, when Shazam and Billy were split. Now, this is the first time in ever that Shazam is face to face with Billy Batson. But if Billy returns to the real world, Neron would be unleashed. So, a plan was formed. Billy would stay behind and be held prisoner. He would go through torment. Now, Shazam went on to try to save the world. This is a really big deal. He's pretty much trading Billy's life for his own. But Billy trusts Shazam that Shazam will do what's right. The Rock of Eternity holds a prisoner. Billy Batson and Shazam were separated. Shazam, with the help of the Teen Titans, put the 4 Riders of Apocalypse into Raven. Shazam then imprisoned Raven in the Rock of Eternity. The prison needed something to keep it shut though. Billy Batson decided to give the ultimate sacrifice. He'd be the guard of the prison holding Raven. Billy would go through endless torture with Neron. All Shazam had to do was to not say Shazam. If Shazam switched back to Billy, Billy would be free. But then all the power from the Rock of Eternity would go to Raven. Raven would then be free and more powerful than ever before. Neron taunts Billy. He also reassures Raven that she'll be free soon. We switch to Earth. Vixen is asking Shazam questions about the recent death of the Creeper. Miss Martian tries to read Shazam's mind, but she is unable to. The Question sits in the leader's chair. The Question has a plan. Keep in mind that we haven't figured out who the Question is yet. Who would take the persona that was once used by Vic Sage? We go to inside the questioning room. Vixen says to Shazam, "Mary's been calling. She's worried about you. I told her you're under a lot of stress," which is a truth. "You want to tell me the truth? Thunder, Ryder, Slade, Johns. What made you kill them?" Vixen looks and sees demons in Shazam's eyes. She says, "I don't understand any of this." Shazam says, "I do, and you need to let me go now." Vixen responds, "How long?" Shazam says, "Not long now." Vixen then gets closer saying, "I meant, how long has it been since you've given back your power?" Billy. Shazam then gets angry. He says, "You all really need to stop calling me that." That's when Shazam breaks through the 4 walls around him. These walls were designed to hold Hercules. They weren't strong enough for Shazam though. Shazam then flies off. The Question, Miss Martian, and the other heroes can't stop him. We see at the Rock of Eternity, Neron taunts Billy, who's still strapped to the chamber door. It's revealed that Neron is messing with Shazam, making him lost. Shazam sees what Neron sees: demons and hell. We see Shazam walking through different streets in the city. A mom and her child run away when they see Shazam. He intimidates them. That's when the Justice League of America show up and go to attack Shazam. They try to pressure him into saying Shazam. Shazam flies off, saying, "No." Now, this is when things pop off, guys. Shazam flies to the sky and is met by the Spectre. The Spectre says, "Enough." The Spectre puts Shazam in captivity at Morningside Heights. Shazam says, "Every moment you hold me here, more souls will be lost." The Spectre responds, "A threat. That is unexpected." Shazam responds, "Even you can't see everything." The Spectre says, "I see the soulless thing you have become. What is it? I wonder what you have seen." The Spectre touches Shazam's head and tries to go into his mind. Shazam fights back. He tries to take down the Spectre, but the Spectre, being as powerful as he is, gets control again. He says, "Give me your testimony." The Spectre sees everything: the separation of Billy Batson and Shazam, the manipulations of Neron, the demonic invasion, the motivations of Shazam's murders. It's actually revealed that Neron is actually controlling Shazam. So every time Shazam murders someone, it's not actually him. Neron is doing that. Now, Spectre is still curious of what Neron's plan is, but Spectre doesn't figure it out in time, because Shazam takes a piece from the Spear of Destiny and stabs into the Spectre. Spectre then falls to the ground, dead. The Spear of Destiny is one of the only things that could destroy the Spectre. Neron manipulates Shazam into murder once again. The Justice League of America show up and are shocked at what Shazam did. They ask for Billy, and Shazam gets frustrated. That's when Question shows up. It is then revealed to be Deadman under the mask. He says, "Don't make me do this, Bill. Just say it." Deadman then flies into Shazam's body and forces him to say the word, "Shazam!" That's when Shazam disappears. Billy returns bleeding and with white hair. The Justice League of America are happy to see him. Billy stands up scared. He says, "Oh, what'd you do?" We go to the Rock of Eternity. The chamber door opens up. The prisoner is freed. Neron says, "At last, our bargain is complete. Your unkindness." Neron bows down before Raven. Raven gives Neron the Rock of Eternity because of his loyalty. Raven flies up. She has ultimate power now. She tells Neron the demons to bow to your new queen. Now, heading into Future State's Black Adam, we begin the 853rd century. We see the Watchtower, World Mogo. It suddenly disappears. The Justice Legion stand in the Hall of Justice, Tesseract space. They get a signal from Mogo. Mogo has picked up something in transdimensional space. That's when Jonathan Fox, the Flash, says, "Mogo, it's gone." The Justice Legion send out Brainiac Sentry drones to investigate. Superman, the Justice Legion, sits down and says, "This looks like a job for the Justice Legion Alpha." Jonathan Fox Flash tells Superman, "You might be too late for that." Superman, "Look." That's when we shift to the sun. Superman Prime 1,000,000 flies out of the sun and gets ready to fight. Superman Prime 1,000,000 confronts the Unkindness, led by the 7 deadly sins and accompanied by the last orders of chaos. The Unkindness consumes every plane of existence in order to bring the end of all things. Vandal Savage is actually with them as well. Now, the minions of the Unkindness smash into Superman Prime. He gets overwhelmed. His Green Lantern ring breaks. Superman Prime 1,000,000 is destroyed. The Superman in the Hall of Justice is devastated to see Superman Prime die. He says, "He didn't even stand a chance." Flash replies with, "And if he doesn't, who does?" That's when word of Superman Prime's death goes across the universe. Worlds descend to chaos. Atlantean cruisers disappear. Every ship and army is destroyed. Superman smashes on the keyboard at the Hall of Justice. He's frustrated. He says, "We can't just sit here and do nothing." Batman says, "Whatever this threat is, it's destroyed the most powerful hero and the most formidable army in seconds. If my calculations are correct, we are doomed." Wonder Woman sits back and tells the Justice Legion, "I know someone who might be able to help." The Justice Legion asks, "Who?" Wonder Woman flies the ship to Kahndaq. They get through the security of the planets. Wonder Woman tells the Justice Legion, "Teth, Black Adam, as you know him, can help us. We've been in a relationship for the past few centuries." Jonathan Fox Flash is shocked. Batman tells him to mind his own business. Batman says, "I just pray Wonder Woman's secrets can help." The Justice Legion arrive on Kahndaq. The destination is being kept alive with the same technology that keeps Black Adam young. The ship arrives at the Subtel. Black Adam lives inside it. The Justice Legion walk out. Wonder Woman reunites with a man named Mitchell. Mitchell is eternally grateful to have Wonder Woman at his side. She saved him from eternal punishment. Mitchell leads the Justice Legion to a garden, to Black Adam. Black Adam comes out to the Justice Legion. He is now an ambassador. He's peaceful. He tries giving his love, Wonder Woman, and the Justice Legion help. But that's when the alarms go off. The Unkindness arrive. The 7 deadly sins and the Lords of Chaos smash through the garden window. Superman fights back against Pride. He says, "Stand fast, Justice Legion. We must do what Superman Prime could not. We have to win. The whole universe depends on our survival." Wonder Woman takes on lust. Flash takes on sloth. Batman takes on greed. Wrath goes after Black Adam. Envy and gluttony walk toward Mitchell. He's very scared. Wrath takes Black Adam up to space. They both crash through drones and ships. Wrath hits Black Adam to a ground of destruction. Wrath holds Black Adam down, trying to kill him. Black Adam yells. He's been trying to be peaceful for so long, but his wrath is about to be unleashed. Light years away, we see Earth. Now, only a gray rock. A bunch of gray rocks. It's no longer the center of the universe. It's not important. A blue lightning comes out of Earth and strikes Wrath. The lightning bolt destroys the monstrous creature. Black Adam stands powerful once again. He's back. Black Adam travels back to Kahndaq. He finds his love, Wonder Woman, and Mitchell standing. The 7 deadly sins destroyed. The Justice Legion just stand in silence. Wonder Woman says, Something's wrong." Black Adam shouts, "Get back! They're no longer the Justice Legion." The Justice Legion are now controlled by the Unkindness. They go to attack Wonder Woman and Mitchell. Black Adam flies in to save his comrades. Black Adam flies Wonder Woman and Mitchell into a room with a huge silver door, or actually 2 silver doors. Black Adam uses a lightning bolt to shut the door. Krakoom! Wonder Woman asks, "Are we safe?" Black Adam responds, "No, it will take them a moment, but they will find a way in." Wonder Woman responds, "Then we have to be ready." Black Adam tells Wonder Woman no. He begins to give up. He's lost so many people he's loved. He's tried to regain the life that was stolen from him. Nothing worked. Wonder Woman puts her hand on Black Adam's face and says, "Teth, you can't give up." Black Adam replies, "There's no choice." Wonder Woman says, "No, Teth, we have to live. If not for me, for our child." Black Adam is shocked. He didn't know he was going to be a father. He hugs his love, Wonder Woman. Knowing that child is on the way, it gives Black Adam the motivation to fight. The Unkindness break through the door. They go to attack, but that's when they are blasted by a yellow light. Gold Beetle shows up in front of Black Adam, Wonder Woman, and Mitchell. She says, "Hi, I'm Gold Beetle, and believe it or not, I know how to save the universe." The unkindness surrounds the planet of Kondok in the 853rd century. All hope is lost. But a new hero has arrived in her ship, with Skeets at her side. This hero steps up to Black Adam, Wonder Woman, and Mitchell to introduce herself. Her name is Gold Beetle, Queen of the Quantum Realm, Wave Rider Warrior, Tiara of Time. She's here to beat up bad guys and fix time. She comes from a long line of heroes and time travelers. She's been stationed at the Vanishing Point working with the linear police when the Unkindness attacked. The Unkindness is Raven. Raven has been destroying other dimensions and planes. The linear police were attacked by the Unkindness, and the Gold Beetle was the only one who barely escaped. Gold Beetle wasn't about to let the Unkindness destroy everything, so she traveled with Skeets to the only place left with hope, Kondog. Wonder Woman tells Gold Beetle the situation and asks her, "What hope is there here?" Gold Beetle tries to answer Wonder Woman's question, but she's unable to. Skeets then reminds Gold Beetle to show the artifacts. Gold Beetle remembers and pulls out Family Heirloom, a scarab that used to be a part of the alien species, the Reach. Mitchell asks, "I'm lost. How does this help us?" Gold Beetle responds, "Good question." Mitchell Shelley, aka Resurrection Man. Mitchell responds, "You know who I..." Gold Beetle cuts him off saying, "I'm a time traveler. I know a lot about you." Wonder Woman thinks Gold Beetle is crazy. Black Adam agrees, but is still curious as to what Gold Beetle's plan is. Gold Beetle thinks if they get this scarab back online and activate it, then they can stop the Unkindness, or at least get away for a while and figure out a plan. It's their best, it's their last chance of survival. Gold Beetle thinks Black Adam can activate the scarab. She hands it over to him. Gold Beetle says, "Take your time. There's only a malevolent space bird ready to destroy the planets." That's when Batman, Superman, Flash crash into the cave. They go to attack. Gold Beetle uses her tech to protect the group while Black Adam works his magic. He activates the scarab. A portal then opens, but the evil Justice League members begin to break through Gold Beetle's shield. Skeets then makes the ultimate sacrifice. He detonates and sends the evil Justice League members blasting back into the cave. Gold Beetle, Black Adam, Wonder Woman, and Mitchell go through the portal out of the cave. Black Adam, Gold Beetle, Wonder Woman, and the Resurrection Man, Mitchell, arrive in Hell. They're confronted by the Phantom Stranger. The Phantom Stranger catches Black Adam up to speed on everything that has happened. How Raven became super powerful and evil with the Unkindness. The Phantom Stranger then leads the group through different dimensions. The Speed Force Wall, New Genesis, and Skyland. They finally arrive at their destination, which should give them guidance. This destination is the Tower of Fates, the last bastion of magic. The group walk in, see all sorts of magical heroes. The Quintessence walk up to the group. The Quintessence includes Sinestro, last of the Wielders of Lights, Big Barda, High Mother of New Genesis, the Spectre, the Wrath of the Almighty, Hippolyta, Queen of the Amazons, and the Wizard. The Wizard confronts Black Adam. The Wizard sends Phantom Stranger off to recruit more survivors before it's too late. Black Adam then asks the Wizard, "What are you doing here?" The Wizard then explains how he rallied up the Quintessence. They are the Guardians of the Universe, and their whole plan is to weigh out the Unkindness' destruction. Once all the universe is destroyed, the Wizard, with the help of his comrades, will reboot the universe. Gold Beetle is against this idea, but she doesn't have time to argue because she begins to disappear. Her arm starts to disappear, she pretty much panics, and the Quintessence tries to save her, but then she disappears entirely. That's when the Wizard goes over to Black Adam and tries to save him as quick as possible. The Wizard thinks if he uses magic and combine with Black Adam, then even if Black Adam's timeline gets destroyed by the Unkindness, Black Adam won't disappear. But first, Black Adam asks the Wizard to save Wonder Woman and his child first. The Wizard says, "I'm sorry, I cannot." Black Adam then gets mad. He pulls the Wizard close and says, "What do you mean you cannot? She carries my child." The Wizard responds, "Yes, that is unfortunate. Mitchell will live on. That is his power. You and I share magic, which I can bolster so you can survive." Black Adam then says, "The cost of this one? No, you'll fix this. You owe me that much, old man." That's when the wizard looks up into Black Adam's eyes and says, "But for Wonder Woman, there's nothing I can do. Take solace that after the unkindness destroys this universe, we'll re-enter it and create a new world with new children But Black Adam cuts him off saying, Without you, I would have died in Egypt, surrounded by my first family. But I'm here because you gave me this power. And now, with the first glimpse of hope I've had in millennia, you're telling me you can't save her? I don't accept that. There must be a way." That's when Mitchell, the Resurrection Man, walks up. He says, "There is. I've died and lived more times than I can remember at first. I thought it was wonderful, but then, you know this, Adam. To see everyone you cared about fall ill or killed, it doesn't end. It never ends." Now, Black Adam responds, "Mitchell, what are you saying?" Mitchell then continues, "I'm saying, living is torture. Now you're telling me that the torture will continue forever? But I don't want to live. It's not natural. She knew that. She promised me peace. All I had to do was put the jewel on my forehead, and she would do the rest. I'm ready. I'm ready for death." That's when Mitchell, the Resurrection Man, is ripped apart before he can achieve peace. Raven, with the rest of her army of the Unkindness, arrive at the Tower of Fates. Raven says, "The gates is open, and I, the Unkindness, arrive to destroy you all." A fight breaks out between the heroes of the Tower of Fate and the army of the Unkindness. Black Adam and Wonder Woman fight together for their child's future. The wizard attacks Raven. Raven easily hits the wizard back with a shroud of smoke. Raven takes down the wizard, then confronts Black Adam. Raven gives Black Adam two choices: bow down and have a death with only a slight bit of pain, or die with eternal agony. Raven says, "Why fight destiny? There's nothing here worth fighting for." Black Adam looks at Wonder Woman and thinks about his child. He then attacks Raven, saying, "I beg to differ." Raven responds, "Oh, Adam, you chose poorly." Raven blasts Black Adam into the rocks. Black Adam gets out of the rocks and sees the wizard afar. He then picks up the wizard, and the wizard says, "Adam, you live." Black Adam holds the wizard, saying, "Tell me, wizard, there must be something else we can do." That's when Raven shows up and says, "It's over. I have won. It's time for the end of all things." Black Adam, his eyes turn blue, and the wizard says to him, "Adam, there is but a slight chance, but we can't be sure of the consequences." Black Adam grits his teeth, saying, "Damn the consequences, old man. I'll do anything to save the universe, to save my child." The wizard smiles and says, "Yes, this is the man I chose. At long last, you are my champion." And Black Adam looks down, saying, "What must I do?" And the wizard says, "Say my name, Adam. Say my..." But then the wizard dies. Black Adam then shouts, "Shazam!" We see a whole blast go up a lightning. It hits Raven and sends the Unkindness back. Then we see Black Adam go through time back into the Rock of Eternity. We see this narration. The narration reads, "As in the beginning there was the Word, and now the last of the ancient wizard's power, wrapped up in the Word, sends 10th Adam hurtling through the multiverse, through the time stream and speed force, disrupting the fundamental fabric of the omniverse, and finally into the Rock of Eternity. This, the birthplace of his power, is knocked from the center of the multiverse into an unescapable realm of lost souls and damned sinners. When Adam awakes, he recognizes his surroundings. How could he not? It was his prison for thousands of years, and now it is his prison again. Black Adam wakes up in the Rock of Eternity in Hell, the year 2021, and says, "Is this my sacrifice, old wizard, to be held here for another eternity? No, I will escape. I'll destroy this unkindness before he destroys the universe. I will see my child, and heaven help anyone that stands in my way." We see outside all these demons of hell. Did Black Adam save the universe? Did he actually cause the universe to get sucked up with unkindness? Is he now just stuck in a prison just because the wizard wanted him to be? There's so many questions. But that's how he ends. Future states, Black Adam. So that was the complete story of this unkindness story in DC Future State, and I thought this story was epic. I thought it was really cool, an awesome story. Now, I did think that the 2 Flash issues were the weakest of the entire story. I don't like Wally being a villain, and I thought it was kind of repetitive. But once we got to the Teen Titans series, the 2 issues of that, it got really good with like Red X, and we got to see Raven get possessed by the 4 Rise of Apocalypse. Then it got more interesting in Shazam with like the Spectre and all these other different characters, but then it ended on such an epic and emotional note in Black Adam. Seeing Black Adam really make like the ultimate sacrifice was really dope. Now the ending, I have some theories. So like Black Adam, he's stuck in the Rock of Eternity now in 2021, and basically moving forward in the regular DC continuity, we know that the future, like the unkindness will happen. And Black Adam's the only one who knows about it, and he's the only one who can stop it, but he's in the Rock of Eternity. So maybe in like a future DC event, a year or 2 from now, the unkindness will come back, and then we'll make it like a real resolution to the story. Or maybe DC will just be like, oh, that's it. You just act like the story didn't happen. Because this story did get some like bad feedback. Like a lot of people did like it, but also some people didn't like it because they don't like seeing Shazam, Raven, and Wally become villains, which I don't blame them. I don't blame DC fans for not liking that, but I also want to see a real ending to the story and see how the DC heroes like Superman, Batman will confront the unkindness, because the unkindness is a really awesome idea. Like the 7 deadly sins, the 4 Rise Apocalypse, led by Raven. Like, that's just so cool. It's epic. So yeah, guys, that's my thoughts on it. Overall, I would give this entire unkindness story arc in the DC Future State event an 8 out of 10. I thought it's solid. It's not amazing, but it's still good enough. Like, I'd still recommend reading it. But yeah, guys, you tell me your thoughts on the story down below. What would you give it from 1 to 10? If you like the video, give a big thumbs up on your channel. Make sure to subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss out on my next DC Comics video. We only got a couple more DC Future State videos, which they're more like complete story videos. And now we're heading to DC Infinite Frontier, which I'm so hyped about, guys. You don't even know how hyped I'm about this whole event that DC is about to do. Like this new initiative. Like, I'm gonna be pumping out the videos for you guys, because I'm excited. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.